Field Report. NC-024, The Frightening and Melancholy Tale of the Nutcracker by Tim Misterson of Mistook and Prime, Department of Human Mythology, Ballet-Based Folklore, and Mild Nightmares. Filed late because I briefly attempted to understand human ballet notation and had to lie down. Subject: the Nutcracker, a holiday tale that humans insist is magical despite being utterly terrifying. Humans speak of the Nutcracker with deep nostalgia, calling it charming, whimsical, and for children. I have now studied this story. It is unclear which children they mean, but I suspect they must be very brave. First, the premiere, a questionable gift. The story begins with a young human named Clara, sometimes Marie, depending on which region's myth makers were in charge, receiving a gift from her eccentric relative, a wooden soldier whose sole job is cracking nuts with its jaw. This seems like an odd present for a child, but humans describe it as traditional. This Nutcracker has a fixed stare, an unsettling smile, and a hinged mouth capable of crushing walnuts and possibly emotions. Clara loves the toy. This should have been the first sign that the night was going off the rails. Second, midnight. The house comes alive, and not comfortably. Once the clock strikes 12, Clara enters what humans call the magical dream world. It appears more accurate to call it a holiday-themed hallucination fueled by sugar and fear. In this dream, the following occurs. The Christmas tree grows to monstrous size like a festive kaiju. All the toy soldiers come to life, marching with determined wooden faces. A horde of giant human-sized mice storms the room, led by the Mouse King, a creature with multiple heads, depending on the production. Humans bring children to see this. Their confidence is astonishing. Third, the battle. Toys versus Rodent Legion. Clara witnesses an epic confrontation between the Nutcracker, his toy soldier battalion, and an army of mice large enough to demand union representation. Weapons are drawn. Combat ensues. It is, from what I gather, a rodent war. Clara stops the conflict by throwing a shoe. This works. This is perhaps the most disturbing part. Fourth, transformation. The Nutcracker becomes a man. After the battle, the Nutcracker transforms from a wooden jaw-based tool into a handsome, full-grown human prince. This raises several questions about human enchantment laws, none of which humans address. Clara accepts the transformation immediately. Humans call this romantic. I call it high-level denial. Fifth, the ballet. Humans turn this story into a cultural event. Humans reenact this unsettling story annually through a performance form called ballet, which combines athletic precision, emotional expression, and a suspicious absence of talking. In the ballet, characters must convey fear, shock, and existential confusion using only leg strength and dramatic arm flourishes. The audience applauds. Notable ballet moments include the Waltz of the Snowflakes, beautiful dancers swirling on stage while a blizzard erupts. Humans call it peaceful. I call it hypothermia folklore. The land of sweets. After surviving a rodent war, Clara is rewarded by being taken to a kingdom where desserts dance for her. This seems less magical and more like a sugar-induced fever dream. The dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, a soundtrack that is undeniably enchanting. It sounds like it was written by someone who wanted to warn future generations about the dangers of insomnia. At the end, Clara sometimes wakes up, sometimes does not, depending on the production. Humans do not find this inconsistency alarming. Sixth, emotional tone, both frightening and sad. The original story, written by a human named E.T.A. Hoffman, is famously darker, featuring transformations, curses, lost childhood innocence, and existential dread set to whimsical music. Humans simply edited out the darkest parts and said, "Perfect, a holiday story for families." Humans routinely do this. They treat terror like seasoning. Remove some, leave a little for flavor. Conclusion, a tale of magic, melancholy, and mouse-based warfare. The Nutcracker is a frightening story of midnight terrors, a sad tale of childhood vulnerability, a surreal dreamscape, a ballet full of expressive leg gestures, and a holiday ritual humans insist is wholesome. It is both enchanting and unsettling, but joyous and eerie, both sweet and deeply weird. Filed while cautiously eyeing all wooden objects with faces. Tim Misterson of Mistook and Prime, currently avoiding toy aisles due to suspected animate potential.